When his mother visited his new apartment, Louis couldn't help but beam with pride. After years of scraping by on internships, late-night shifts at diners, and student loan stress, he finally had a place that was his own. It wasn't much, a modest one-bedroom unit on the second floor of a red-bricked building in Cincinnati, but to him, it was freedom. His mother stepped inside, clutching her purse, scanning the room with a soft smile. "This place is nice," she said approvingly, setting her bag on the kitchen counter. "Yeah," Louis answered, stretching out his arms as if to show off the space. "I made the payment just yesterday." That's when she dropped the bombshell. "Perfect timing, Lou. Why live alone? Your cousin Mark needs a place. So, I told him he could move in with you. He's already on his way." Louis froze. His stomach dropped like he'd missed a step on the stairs. "What? You didn't even ask me." "It's family, Louis. Family helps each other," she said firmly, in that tone mothers use that shuts down all argument. Reluctantly, Louis accepted. He told himself it wouldn't be so bad. Mark was only a few years older, and maybe it would be nice to have someone around. But Louis had worked hard for this independence, and the thought of sharing space gnawed at him. When Mark showed up with 2 duffel bags and a cocky grin, Louis swallowed his irritation. They shook hands, exchanged a few jokes, and for the first couple of days, things were tolerable. Mark ate a lot of Louis's groceries, sure, and hogged the TV, but Louis told himself it was temporary. Then, a week later, Mark came home with his girlfriend in tow. A tall woman with dyed hair and a booming laugh. She strutted around the apartment like she'd been living there all along. That night, Mark pulled Louis aside in the kitchen. "Bro, can my girl stay here just for a month or 2? She's in between leases, you know? Just until she gets settled." Louis clenched his jaw. He didn't like the idea. This was his sanctuary, and it was starting to feel crowded already. But he hated conflict, hated saying no. So he forced a smile and nodded. One night, after a brutal 12-hour shift at the office, Louis came home exhausted, dreaming of his bed. Instead, he walked into chaos. Music blared, red cups littered the counters, strangers laughed in his living room. His cousin was throwing a wild party. "Mark, what the hell is going on?" Louis snapped. Mark wrapped an arm around him, half drunk, grinning ear to ear. "Bro, it's my girlfriend's birthday. Come on, don't be such a buzzkill. Look, could you crash at a hotel tonight? I told her this place is mine." Louis's blood boiled. "This place is mine," he corrected. But Mark didn't hear him, or pretended not to. Reluctantly, Louis grabbed his keys and left. He spent $50 on a dingy hotel room just to escape his own apartment. When he returned in the morning, the place was trashed. Bottles on the floor, stains on the carpet, broken glass in the sink. His chest tightened with anger. He wanted to scream, but he had work in an hour. He didn't have the energy for a fight. In a hurry, he snapped at his cousin. "I need your car for something urgent." Mark frowned, pausing his video game. "I just bought the car, bro. I've got errands to run. Can't you figure it out?" Louis said nothing. He grabbed his bag and left, the knot in his stomach growing tighter. That evening, when he returned, the apartment was still a disaster. The same empty bottles, the same garbage smell lingering in the air. His cousin sat comfortably on the couch, controller in hand, eyes glued to the TV screen. That was it. Something inside Louis snapped. He had bent over backward to accommodate his cousin, let him bring his girlfriend, let him wreck the place, even left his own home for a night. Enough was enough. He walked up to Mark, voice steady but cold. "Mark, I want you out. Now." Mark looked up, blinking in disbelief. "Hey bro, relax. We're family, okay?" Louis let out a bitter laugh. "Funny. You only remember family when it benefits you." Mark smirked, as if Louis was bluffing. "You're really gonna kick me out? Your own cousin?" Louis's eyes hardened. "Sometimes those who say their family hurt you the most. Leave my house." The words hung heavy in the air. Mark stared at him for a moment, then shook his head and went back to his game. But Louis didn't back down. He unplugged the console, tossed it onto the floor, and stood over his cousin with fire in his eyes. "Pack your bags, Mark. I'm done." It wasn't easy. His mother called him heartless, said he should have been more patient. His aunt ranted about loyalty and family values. But for the first time in years, Louis didn't cave under guilt. He held his ground. Because here's the truth. Family is supposed to lift you up, not drag you down. And sometimes, the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to draw a line. As Louis cleaned the last of the mess, scrubbing the carpet until his hands ached, he finally felt like the apartment was his again. His safe space. His home. He poured himself a glass of water, sat on the couch, and exhaled deeply. For once, there was silence. And in that silence, he found peace. Comment, yes, if Louis did the right thing.